How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the Bochum career. And we start off with some bad news today, as Danny Blum has torn his hamstring during training, and he'll be out for 2 months. So that's not ideal, not a great start to the episode, and we will be out without our, I think our best left winger for a considerable amount of time. So we do have Violent to play on that left wing, but he's not really as pacey, and I'd also like a little bit of cover for Violent because if he gets injured. We do have some players that can play there, but it's not their natural position. I do like to have players that is their natural position, basically. So we go in for Charles Abbey, as he was already on the shortlist, and we'll see if he comes back and says he wants to join us on loan. We also go and sign, a mid-range sort of youth scout and send him to Germany, just to bring in some youth academy players, really, and just to bulk up the squad a little bit. And they don't even have to be any good. We don't have to sign, 90 plus rated potential players, but as long as you get some players that are decent potential and have a little bit of room to grow, and which means we may be able to sell them for profit, it'll probably help our finances a whole ton going into the Bundesliga within 2 seasons possibly, or 3 seasons at this rate. But heading now into the next game of our season, and it is against Bielefeld. I believe it's a rival match. I didn't check why. I didn't realise they were a team close to Bochum, but they possibly are. I'm really bad at my research. I think as I'm playing the game, I'll quickly look that up after, and then I forget. So we are playing against Bielefeld. I apologise if it is a big rivalry. I didn't believe it was, but we go into this game and we were looking for our first win. We really need to make our home form really good. We need to ideally not lose a game at home for this season to go as well as we want it to. I'd quite like to try and push maybe into at least the top half of the table, possibly even eyeing up that promotion spot. But as you can see, we're lining up against a strong team, and I didn't have to change this team. This was a completely unchanged team. I didn't even need to go onto their side to look at anything. I noticed that there was a full strength team already, so I'm not sure, because it was deemed as a rival game, it was deemed as an important game, so they just chose to field their strongest lineup, which I suppose is interesting. It shows that they can pick their strongest lineup. It's just poor coding, or I don't really understand why they don't pick their strongest lineup all the time. But as you can see here, we made actually a really good challenge with Dekali out there on the left-hand side, but sadly, because he lost the ball, they are able to cross the ball back in and put it into the back of the net, and that made it 1-0 just before half-time, which is really unlucky for us. I actually think the goalkeeper, Ryman, could have done a little bit better here. It was at his near post, and in my opinion, he just should have been covering his near post much better than that. But I do think in a lot of renditions of FIFA, near post shots have always been quite difficult, because either the keeper always saves it and you can never score it in that game, or the keeper just doesn't have any sort of hope, like as in he will let in every shot, whether it's a P-roll or if it's like a really well placed shot. But going into the second half, I didn't really change too much, and we actually started off relatively okay. Shipnowski broke out from the wing and with his blistering pace managed to get past the back four of Bielefeld, and actually it was Gamvula who managed to put away the goal, because again he didn't quite put a shot on target there. I mean, it wasn't a great shot. It was on target, but it wasn't a great shot, and the keeper made a save, and Gamvula luckily was on the follow-up, because rebound goals in this FIFA are very overpowered. Gamvula there notching his first goal for this season, and hopefully there'll be many more. I do hope both my strikers will score at least 10 to 15 goals this season. That's my hope, because they're both relatively good strikers, and they've scored in the 2 games that we've played. Sadly, we did also concede here. It was really poor by me. I really can't deal with passing it out from the back. I really struggle. I actually looked it up, and a lot of people seem to have the same issues, and I think it's because of how they've changed headers and how they've changed passing. And I tried to pass it out to my defender. Because it was so rushed and he was under pressure, he obviously didn't get it on target, and it just went straight to the Bielefeld player. And it's a really good volley on the half volley there by the Bielefeld player, I think Hartel. And yeah, he made it 2-1 to Bielefeld, and yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't a great performance. We did get a chance straight from kickoff here. A little bit of luck went our way. Gonvula getting it to Lee Chung-yong, and Gonvula putting it back into our South Korean midfielder. And should he be putting that away? I think he should. It wasn't, a clear-cut chance, but it was a pretty good chance. And he really, for the quality of player that he is, I just think that should have been in the back of the net. But it was a good save by the keeper, nevertheless. And Yabo breaks free, and they could have actually made it a little bit more just before the final whistle. We do get one final chance of the game as we get the ball with Kone. He just runs through. A little bit of luck there to not get taken out. Again, didn't get taken out. He takes the shot, and I mean, it was an okay shot. I wasn't expecting much, but it did end the game, and we did end up losing our second game of the season, which did put us a lot further down the table. I think at this point we were maybe 14th or 15th, and that was not ideal. Slowly slipping down the table with 0 points in 2 games. It's not ideal, and we do need to be looking to improve our form. I didn't want to change formation straight away because I was actually sort of okay with how we were playing in terms of we were producing some chances, just my passing was really poor, and I don't know if that was just because I needed some better quality in the team to just improve the passing. I mean, some of the passes that we were making were just going completely in the opposite direction, and it wasn't really acceptable in my opinion. So we did look into possibly bringing in a different midfielder, and I was looking in the background at some different options, some from the loan list and possibly some in the similar league. And actually at the same time we did get an offer for Anthony Lasilla, or Lucia I think it is, and it was Club America. It was another team in Mexico that wanted him, and the 33-year-old, I did start to entertain this offer because he's actually decreasing in stats. I know that dynamic potential means that older players don't decrease as fast, but he is actually 33. I really doubt he's going to be even 70 rated by the end of the season. So I did make a big decision and decide, you know what, I'm just going to get rid of him. And if I can get a decent amount close to his valuation, I'll just accept that. And actually we get another offer for another midfielder, Gorkem Saglam, I think is his name. And again, I know I made the point of wanting to keep youth at the club, but he's a player that doesn't really look that great and doesn't really fit my style of play. He's quite slow, quite sluggish, and his passing wasn't that great. And unless I trained him, he just didn't seem to be looking like he was going to get any better. So I decided to get rid of him and just make a little bit of extra cash from him, and then possibly looking to bringing in a different player. And that'll probably be in the next episode when we look at maybe our whole team and who we actually have to play in that centre mid position, because we actually do have Robert Tesh, who is starting in this game as the captain, and we have players like Eisfeld and also Janelt, and I believe there is obviously Lee Chung-yong, the former Crystal Palace midfielder. So we do have quite a good quality of depth in our midfield position. It's just whether we have the right players for this formation, and it depends on how we play in the next few games, whether we'll change it, whether we'll keep it. I was going to stick with it for this game against Heidenheim. We were at home for this game, playing against I believe they are also the Bundesliga 2 opposition. They are higher in the table than us, but most people are. We haven't won a game all season, and we didn't start the game off very well. In the 11th minute, Otto there starting. I believe he was a little bit lower rated. Again, I didn't change the team because they started a reasonably strong side, playing a few odd young players there. Otto, one of them. But a majority of the team, goalkeeper, the defenders, the midfield, and the strike force, they were all relatively high rated. So I decided not to change it because it's a cup game. Generally, you're going to play your weaker side, which I did. I didn't play a full strength side apart from my two up front. Gonvula there gets through, showing his strength. He is absolutely fantastic in that situation where he has to hold off a player, and he just breaks through, and it's a fantastic finish really, right into the top corner. No chance for the Heidenheim goalkeeper, and that puts us back level, and I believe that was just before half time, so that's quite good actually. We weren't playing particularly poorly in this game. We did have to take off a winger. I believe it was Vilda, or the player that came to us at the start of the game, at the start of the save, saying I want a I want to be given a chance. He actually got injured in this game. Luckily, it wasn't too long an injury, but we did have to take him off. And at that point, I did decide to bring on some more defensive substitutions, which sort of killed the game. This was the only real chance, and it was actually a goal for us. He was off the bench, and he just scored a fluke goal from outside the box. To be honest, I'm not quite sure how he scored that, but to be fair, it was a last-minute winner, and Winsheimer showing maybe he should get some more game time. It was actually a pretty decent run from him, and he wrong-footed the goalkeeper and just put it into the bottom corner there, right into that corner, and it was a nice finish. I'll give credit to the striker where credit's due. It was a nice finish, and it did give me some sort of question marks over who should be starting in that striking role, because that's now 3 strikers that have all been scoring. Zola's the only striker that hasn't really scored, but I've been playing him in wing positions so far, so I will give Zola the benefit of the doubt there. Maybe I'll try and play him up front in the next episode or the episode after that, just to see, you know, if he has got a goal in him or if he's just really useless. So that will be the end of the episode. As you can see there, we did also sell Saglam right at the end here. He has gone, which means we now need to probably sign at least a loanee midfielder just to tide us over, and that will be in the next episode where we look at some possible midfield options. But that is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Career Mode, which will be out hopefully very soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.